Hi, it's been a while. So just to clear some things up, I've been absent only because I was taking a huge mental health break because of personal and other reasons. But yeah, let's just say that I just needed a break, but I'm doing well now. So I'm back and I'm going to try to get into the groove of being more consistent with the uploads. Second, initially this video was supposed to be one long video, but honestly I just wasn't a fan of it. And instead I'm going to break it down to 3 parts that are going to be shorter. Don't worry, they're pretty much complete. I just have to tweak them a bit and we'll be good to go. And then I'll have more updates for everything because I have a lot of projects and stuff gonna be working on, so stay tuned for that. Anyways, you've heard me ramble long enough, so the only thing I can say is that thank you so much for everything, the subs, the views, the comments, everything. I truly appreciate everything that y'all have done. So without further ado, here you go. So, kicking off the first build, it is the Raoul gun build featuring Will of the Sword obtained from Futsunushi. So now, why Will of the Sword? Well, I've already explained before in a previous video that Will of the Sword is the best trait when it comes to gun builds. So, how I built my Raoul is I gave it one-shot kill, which is high critical damage, but you can also go riot gun, which is the AoE gun skill. And for everything else is pretty much what's going to be standard for my builds. The only thing I would be changing would be just the attack. But my standard build would be Null Bless because Raoul is weak to blast skills, so we need to cover that up. Firm Stance because it's such a great skill. Arms Master in order to reduce our HP cost of our gun skills. Gun Amp, Gun Boost, self-explanatory, they boost our attack for gun skills. And then App Pupil and Trigger Happy. Now I've gotten a lot of concerns about these two skills that they do not stack. The one that should be working technically is Trigger Happy since these are gun skills. However, App Pupil was argued to not have worked. So for my crit test, I did 4 things. First, I tested my crit rate just on one-shot kill alone. The second one is one-shot kill with Trigger Happy. The third one is one-shot kill with App Pupil only. And the fourth one is both of the passes on Raoul. So the results I got from my recordings is that without the passives, we have pretty much a 50% chance since I hit 20 enemies and out of the 20, I hit 10 with a critical hit. So cool, so we know roughly we have a 50% chance, at least from this observation. So then on the second crit test with Trigger Happy, I didn't get that much of a difference because it was just 11 out of 20 that I got a critical hit. And that also happened on the third test where I only got 11 out of 20, which seems to be a weird coincidence, and it could just be chance since this is just a chance at a critical hit. This is not guaranteed at all, so results may vary. However, I got the most absurd results, which is my fourth test. With both of the passes on, I had 15 out of 20 that I hit over crit. That's 75%. Now, if this was smaller, like 13 out of 20, I would say that was just part of a lucky run. But for it to be 15 out of 20 is very striking, and even without recording on my own, it did seem that I was hitting crits more frequently when I had both these passes on and not just having one. It's up to you. I believe all of you should also test this out. So before I say that the testing is done, there is one more thing that I have to test out, and that is Adverse Resolve. And what this passive does is that when you're surrounded, your critical rate is increased. So we pair that up with Vitality of the Tree trait, which lets us use skills that would require us to be surrounded to work normally. So now, is it possible that we can stack Adverse Resolve, Trigger Happy, and App Pupil? So first, I just want to test out Adverse Resolve by itself. So within this 5th test, I again fought my 20 enemies, and our result was 12 out of 20. So one more compared to App Pupil and Trigger Happy, but it's roughly the same range because I just assume that it is the same amount of percentage that is increased as App Pupil and Trigger Happy. At least that's what I'm assuming, and we just got that extra 1 because it was just a lucky run. Alright, so now for test 6, we have all 3 critical rate passives, App Pupil, Trigger Happy, and Adverse Resolve. And to no surprise to some, but to those who don't know, there is a critical rate cap. So our end result was 14 out of 20, which is underwhelming because, you know, you'd think that they will all stack, but no. Now, at least from what I've seen, this was first posted on Reddit by Brian KTR, so I'm going to leave the links down below in the description to Brian's Reddit post. And from what Brian has said in their Reddit post is that just having app Pupil and Trigger Happy with 99 luck is enough. You don't need Adverse Resolve, and there's even certain occasions where you don't even need Trigger Happy or app Pupil, you just need at least just one passive to hit that cap. So it was no surprise that even with all these passes, we still didn't beat our result of app Pupil and Trigger Happy, but that's fine. There is still one more thing that we can do, using the support skill Rebellion to increase our critical hit rate and seeing maybe this is the highest rate that we can get. So this is our final test, our 7th test, and every time I fought something, I gave myself the Rebellion buff and then attacked, and our end result was 15 out of 20. So it doesn't seem that Rebellion can bypass this critical rate cap. Now, this could mean that I just had a really bad run. So with that result, it shows that Rebellion does not bypass the critical rate cap. So in the end, our most optimal build, at least for critical gun build, will be having one-shot kill, app Pupil, and Trigger Happy. And with that, that's how we reach our critical rate cap. And now, at the end of every build, I will be talking about how I made these. So the recipe for this build is that you need to get a Vasuki at level 70. And the reason is because Vasuki at level 70 learns Trigger Happy. So you want to fuse that with Naga to make a Hanuman. Then grab Hanuman and fuse it with Futsunushi at level 91. Now you want Futsunushi at level 91 because you want firm stance. And Futsunushi already has app Pupil. So we fuse those two and we have Raoul with firm stance, app Pupil, and Trigger Happy. Now for the rest of the skills, we can all get that from skill cards. So first, to get the one-shot kill skill card, atomize Shushu Lane, and if you want the AoE riot gun, then you want to atomize Shushu Lane in a fusion alarm. To get no blast, you want to atomize Raphael. Now my Raoul in this video has repel blast. If you do it in a fusion alarm, you will get repel blast from Raphael, but it honestly doesn't matter, you should just go for the null. To get arms master, you want to atomize Tsukuyomi Picaro in a fusion alarm. For gun boost, you want to atomize White Rider. To get gun amp, you want to also atomize White Rider but in a fusion alarm. And there you go, you have built Raoul.